made plans to go start the cabinets in the treehouse, but I had a bunch of predation. Part of it was probably raccoon, but the rest of it was most probably my neighbor's fucking dogs.
Yeah.
Now, all you pet lovers who go, oh, my Fluffy, I could move him to the country and let him run and run and run. He would never bother anybody. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Back in, when was it, 2006?
I think it was 6, yeah.
Killed? Back in 2006, when we had all our goats killed, part of our chickens and part of our ducks, it was dogs.
Yep.
And it was dogs that had packed up.
Most of them had collars.
Most of them had collars, some of them didn't. One of them was a border collie mix. Should have never been in the mix. Was. One of them was a freaking Yorkie.
Yeah.
Okay? But the three main players were Golden Labrador crosses. You know, Labradors. Everyone's favorite dog. In America, more people own Labradors than anything else. Before we had trouble with our stock with pit bull mix. The pit bull mix didn't eat as many of our animals. Well, didn't eat any of them. And that's the thing. You're going, oh, those poor dogs. It's not their fault. Blah, blah, blah. It's their owner's fault. Well, you know what? You can't shoot the owners.
Mm-mm.
But if the dogs get in your yard and even look at your stock, you can shoot them. So if you love your freaking dog, keep it at home.
Yes.
Don't let it come. You know, everybody wanted to, because I was pissed off and I was trying to kill those dogs, and so was everybody else around here, because it wasn't just our stock. They killed all of mine, they killed all of Myers.
And people down the road. And
oh, yeah, they killed, by the time they got done, they had killed, about 20 goats?
20 goats and how many
goats,
cows?
2 sheep, 2 calves,
yeah,
and 2 pigs. Yeah. Okay, you know what's more heartbreaking than you find out your dog was killing the neighbor's stock and they shot it? Going out to milk your animals that you took care of from the time they were kids, and that you milk twice a day, and that you've spent your money feeding, and finding, instead of something to do, a pasture full of dead animals that you now have to get rid of their carcasses because somebody let their dogs run.
Yeah.
Or in this case, a lot of people let their dogs run.
Yep.
And that's the problem. We didn't used to have that problem because we used to be in the country. Mm-hmm. We were at the edge of a little township. Everything around us was farms. Mm-hmm. All our neighbors.
Or forest.
All of our neighbors at least had chickens, and most of them had other animals. But what we had was a bunch of people from the city who wanted to live in the country. And they brought their dogs out here who had never been in the country. And because they were in the country now, my dog can just run and run and run. Yeah. So now, instead of doing what I want to do today, I'm having to I added these 2 strands of barbed wire today, which Lynn was off doing something again, and so you didn't get to see how I put up fencing. And I'm going to have to backtrack you again to show you how I put up fencing. But any rate, so I had to add 2 strands of barbed wire, because as you can see, when my neighbor put this fence up, he decided to put hog wire over his barbed wire because he keeps horses and donkeys, and
yes,
they get cut easily and then they get septic easily. So he put the hog wire up to protect his horses and donkeys. But now it also protects predators who want to come in.
Right. Because
that's smooth on the top. Plus, it wasn't really tall enough to keep dogs out anyway, so I made it a little taller.
Right.
What I'm doing now is I'm tying it all together. I'm tying it all together because the biggest problem we had was not dogs going over,
but going through.
It was dogs climbing up past the freaking hog wire and then squeezing through the barbed wire. Right. So that's why the barbed wire is so close, and that's why I'm tying it. so that they can't spread it apart. There is no predator that you're ever going to deal with on a farm that is going to be as bad as dogs. Because coyotes, foxes, raccoons, they'll come in, they'll kill 2 or 3 chickens, they'll eat them. You know they're there, now you can shut your birds up, blah, blah, blah. A dog will come in and kill every single thing you have, not eat it. That's why I think I have dog predation. Because I had a bunch of roosters, and I had the roosters come up dead, hadn't been eaten, were covered in what was probably slobber. They were soaking, dripping wet, and it hadn't been raining. So, yes, that's also fun. You know, you go out to take care of your animals, and you got dead animals everywhere. And the raccoons? I blame that on the city people, too. Because we know better than to feed raccoons.
Yes. Oh my God,
I have
yes.
stopped, okay, and I'm going to probably get a lot of hate mail. I have stopped taking raccoons off when I kill them. I mean,
Well, because they come back.
catch them, they don't come back because I take them way the hell and gone off. But there's too many of them.
Right.
Because literally, there for a while, every time I put a trap out, I caught one.
Yeah.
And there's too many of them, and the reason why there's so many of them is because all these city people that moved in here think they're cute and they're feeding them. Well, they're cute until you come in and you find 3 chickens, 2 of which are eaten all the way, half of their body,
Yeah.
and the other one they plan to come get the other night, and next night. And how do I know they plan to come get them the next night? Because I put it in the trap and caught the sumbitch.
When they came back after it.
But yeah, it's like, I don't understand people that want to move to the country, but then don't really understand what the hell it means to live in the country. There's a certain responsibility to animal ownership. And your animals don't get to eat my animals. That's not right. My animals don't eat your animals. I keep my dogs up. Well, anyway, so I tie this up, and I'll tie it so I'm tying it all together. When I got to these metal posts, you'll notice I wrapped it. This one wasn't quite tall enough,
Right.
so I got into my Michigan stuff and got a big ass pole that was about this long, very heavy duty. Basically suck it down to this, which it was hollow until I filled it with dirt.
Right.
So I just drove it into the dirt in this pipe. I did not put these in, somebody else did. Meyer didn't even put those in. Those were in when Meyer bought the place. I wrapped it around. That way it's going to hold nice and tight. Not going to come down. I'm still tying, I haven't even tied these fence posts.
I see that.
To the, I'm tying the fence post and tying them too as I go around. When you buy T-posts, be sure and pick up the clips because the clips come with the T-posts.
Yes, you don't pay extra. They
You
come
don't
with
pay
them.
extra, they come with the T-posts.
But you have to ask sometimes.
But yeah, you'll have to ask because they won't necessarily, the guy on the lumberyard probably knows less about it than you do. So always ask for the clips because the clips are very handy. But when you're constantly just picking up somebody else's, when you're tearing up other people's fences, you don't keep those clips. You take a bolt cutter and you cut them off because you want to get that fence out of there, get the posts out of there. So you wind up not having them. You can just wrap wire around. What you want to do is make sure you're getting between 2 of the knots on the T-post.
They're on the back.
They're on the back side. You
Yes.
want to get between the knots because that keeps it from slipping up and down.
Up and
If
down.
something tries to push in there, it's not going to push in there. I'll show you how you stretch barbed wire. I might have showed you this already, but in case I haven't, I'll teach you a little trick. It'll be hard though because Len didn't get here when I was actually doing it. So. All right. So when you're stretching it, it helps too if you have 2 people. I always wind up doing it myself, which means I'm basically holding the crowbar with my cheek. Okay, but what you do is you come in behind one of the barbs and you leave
Oh, behind one of these.
behind one of the barbs.
Right.
They know what a barb is. If they don't,
Why are they messing
really
with it? Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you get behind one of the barbs and you get on the corner of the post or the tree if you're using a tree, whatever. and you pull back till you get it taut. Yes, you can use a pulley system. Yes, you can use a come-along. Yes, you can do all that stuff. It's not as easy as pulling it with a crowbar.
No.
You just pull it back, and if you have two people, it's really easy because one person just holds the crowbar while you sling
Right.
a nail in there. I did all these myself, people, because you can't get good help. But anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna tie this up, and I'm gonna bitch all day long about my fucking neighbor's dogs.
Yes, of
Because they've
course.
killed a half a dozen of my chickens again. Okay, so I have some stuff I'm gonna try to see because I gotta make this gate taller. So
Right.
I have something I want to try to use, but I need to know the length of the gate. But I am way too lazy to climb up to the treehouse to get where my tape measure is and get it. Plus, you know, measuring is for sucks. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my foot, I'm going to line it up with the gate. There's 1, 2, 3 and a half.
3 and a
So
half.
now I know I have about 3 and a half of my feet. So when I go over there, I can measure the piece and then bring back one that's close enough to work.
That sounds awesome. Okay, she found this piece of black metal. What is this? Fencing? Gate?
Yeah, it's fencing.
That some friends, Frank and Jules, were getting rid of and brought over here. And she did have to cut it down. Here's the piece she cut off. And now we're going to attach it to the gate, and I am going to help her, so I'm turning off.
I'm going to drill some holes in it, and then I'm going to put some screws in it, and you'll see.
Okay, if you can get that open. You didn't want to open, did it? Boy, those are some secure drill bits.
All right.
Yeah, okay, we'll be back.
Damn it. I hate it when that happens. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't go all the way to the bottom.
But it doesn't
I don't
have
care.
to.
It looks okay, doesn't it?
Yeah?
And then I've just drilled holes in there. I did those because I didn't have to got those drilled, put
And-
it up there, and then I put these in, and now I can just, well, I was up there, and now I'll just screw it to it. Screw it to it! It's as easy as that.
And can you explain to me, why you didn't put it all the way to the left on the gate?
Okay, because if I put it all the way to the left on the gate, when I swing out, it's going to hit the wall.
Right.
And that's going to stop it. And I don't want it to stop because sometimes I open this all the way up to let chickens run in the yard. I want it to stay open.
Right.
Okay, so let's see if my trick will work on this or if I'm going to have to use my angle grinder. Now, sometimes you can just knock these over, and when you do, they'll break off.
Sometimes
Like
they
that?
like that. Yep, and like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's easier than using the angle grinder, but if you don't, you can always, you've seen me do that a dozen times too, is cut them off with the angle grinder.
And sometimes they don't want to break.
That's okay. Well, you could leave it there. It wouldn't matter, but
There you
on
go.
the inside of that gate, it wouldn't matter, but yep. There you go.
Yep,
Neater than Peter.
that's nice.
Okay. So, instant extension on the gate. Looks
Right.
pretty good.
It sure does.
It's
And
a chicken gate.
we've reused a piece of trash that was thrown out. What a shock.
Well, you know, they brought it here because they knew I'd use it.
Yes.
They weren't going to throw it away.
No, they would not.
They would not throw it. It's Frank and Jules. They're not going to throw it away if it still has any use in it.
Uh-huh.
But-
At the very least, they knew we could sell it, if
But
nothing
yeah,
else.
but there you go. Look at that. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
There you go.
Nice, secure.
And now our fence has been raised. Our fence has been raised about a foot.
Almost a foot, yeah.
About, 10 inches to a foot in places. It's hopefully gonna keep the dogs out.
You want to show them
And
what
at
you're
the
doing?
very least, it's gonna keep the chickens in. And Lynn wants me to show you this. So there are several little tricks that we have learned over the years and that other people have told us about. My son has told us about. Our son, the genius, recently gave us another one, which is cayenne pepper. You can see I put cayenne pepper all over there. You can also see I've been pissing all day right there at the end because I've been coming over here in the evening after dark every day and shutting these chickens up because of the amount of predation I was having over here. I had a trap set. Why do I think it's dogs? Because I've never had any trouble catching raccoons before. I didn't catch any raccoons.
Right.
None. And you're saying, well, a dog's going to get in there and get the chickens and then take them out? Yes. Yes, he will. Dog can get right in there, chase the chickens out here, and then what it was is I had to kill.
So hopefully the cayenne pepper
So
and
hopefully the cayenne pepper and the urine will keep the raccoons away if it's a raccoon. Okay? Hopefully it's not a dog.
yeah,
Okay, also mothballs.
yeah, mothballs.
Raccoons, squirrels, rabbits, snakes.
And yes, that's an old knee-high slack hose that has
I
hole
use
in it.
slack holes all the time for putting mothballs in because I can just take them. You can just take them, put the mothballs in there, and then you just tie them up all over
Don't
the place.
you use them for buffalo gnats too? Or
I use them for buffalo gnats too.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But and so yeah, so you did that. I took dog shit and threw it in the corners. That's supposed to keep the raccoons away.
Hopefully.
I take coffee regularly and spread. Here's the thing, people. Okay, so why don't I just shut them up every night and let them go in the morning? Because in order to let them go early enough that they're not in there just running around shitting and being pissed off, I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's dogs, that's when dogs like to hunt.
Yep.
So it's not going to do anything for the dogs. So I don't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I don't want to.
Yeah.
So it means I'm letting them out between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, which isn't optimum. And sometimes if I sleep in, they're not getting out till 8:30, which means they're stuck in there the whole time. So I need them out. So hopefully this will work and we'll be able to safely let them run.
If it's coons, which I doubt it is, they'll be discouraged.
We never had any trouble with coons until everybody moved in here.
And if it's dogs, hopefully the fix on the fence
Well, and
will
they
keep them
also,
out.
two things happened. All these town folks moved in here.
These city folks, yeah.
Okay, started feeding the raccoons. And the other thing was there used to be a woods. This
Yeah.
used to be woods.
All woods, all the
This
way back to the
pasture
tree
used
line.
To be all woods, all the way to where there's a tree line now, all the way to where you can see they left a line of trees. Used to be all woods. It's not now.
Yep.
So where are the animals going to go?
Yeah, exactly.
So those two things happen. So yeah, but you don't get to pick your neighbors.
No.
If I could, they'd all be cool people. If I got to pick my neighbors, they'd all be cool people. They wouldn't be flying no Trump flags and rebel flags. They'd all be nice folks that I didn't have to lock my gates because I was afraid of them.
Yep.
At any rate, so that's what I did today instead of doing anything I wanted to. Welcome to my life!
Okay, we'll see you later. Oh, there's the ass shot.